Alright, welcome back to my channel, everybody. So on my latest videos I've been doing a lot of glass. This is slumped by me, and I make them into these little molds. They kind of have like little ridges, so if you guys can see that. So I'll be working some of this stuff today. It has this fake cortex on it. It's actually kiln wash from a firing, but this is, I believe this has some blue in it. It's black and blue, but I don't know if I'm going to get into this one today, but there's one piece. I have this one right here. This one's beautiful. It does have some hints of color in there and some clear possibly. And this is handmade glass by me. It's specifically made to Flint Knap, so we can kind of get the rock experience, like if it's a flake or instead of just a flat slab all the time. And then on most of my videos I've been working this nice blue. So this one should be clear. I believe it's clear. Just got that fake cortex on it, like I said, the wash. I'm pretty sure you could clean it off, but I just like to hit it off like I'm practicing, like if there's an actual cortex on a stone or something like that. And here's kind of a crazy one. It kind of has some blue, some black, some brown mixed in with it. Now it's real funky, I have to admit. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna nap this one. I might give this one away. If anybody's interested and you're actually watching my videos, and if you comment that you're interested in some of this glass, I might go ahead and send this particular piece to you. Now, I've already used one of these on one of my videos. I've used the blue glass in this shape, made a nice blade out of it. It'd be kind of interesting to see one of you make a blade or something out of this, if you can get one out of it. So hit me up in my comments and subscribe, because I do want to give away free glass. And so far, you know, I'm not a lot of you Flint Knappers out there. I'm willing to give you guys some free material to try out. So hit me up, please. Let's get this stuff shipped to you ASAP. So I think for today's video, I'm going to be using this sweet black glass. It has some dark blue in it, maybe even some brown. Only time will tell, you know, once I break into it to see what's actually in there, because I believe we put multiple colors into this piece. Alright, so I'm going to be working this, like I said, this nice black glass. You can't really see it right now, but there is some color in there, and we'll be trying to reveal some of that color, that's for sure. So I'm just going to start off. I got a bopper here, copper bopper. I'm just going to initially try to knock off a corner to get me started. See if I can get into it at any area. There's a good start. So it looks like there's some brown in this one. So that flake revealed some brown. So we'll see how that goes. So here we go. Looks like there's some translucent brown in this glass, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to zigzag all the way around. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to actually try to limit the of running the flakes right now, just because I do like the way this glass looks, and I kind of want to preserve it as best I can. And so if you guys are wondering where I get my glass from, I have access to a bunch of glass bottles. And so when I get those in, I melt them down, I mix them. So it's kind of cool. We're using, these points are made out of recycled glass. I will be making some points or some molds, some glass out of these rock molds that's has more color, but that'll be coming probably later this week or next week. So hopefully I've been in frame the whole time. Ooh, had a little bit of purple in there. Hopefully some of this is I don't think this is transparent at all, but that was a hint of purple. Just trying to quickly go around. I'm taking my time, but I'm still kind of trying to knock off all this original surfacing. Okay, here we go. Let's check this out. So I went around it already. It's kind of the silky black, silky brown glass here. I'm hoping that when it's thin and it opens up, maybe there'll be some color, because I believe I did try to add some color. We'll just see if it shows up on camera. I'm just gonna braid it so you guys can see that I did zigzag it all the way around. I am working glass, I am outside. I do have a fan right next to me that's blowing the dust away from me. So you guys can check that out. It's a little portable fan that I purchased. It's pretty cool. You charge it, it lasts for about 6 hours. 4 to 6 hours supposedly. All right, so we did a quick braid on that, and now I got to remember, from my videos I'm learning that this angle is important when I run these little thin flakes. Hopefully just like that, you guys can see that really thin. I held it more of an upright angle when I'm hitting these, trying to find a platform. Little step on that one, so that step fractured. I'm learning that it actually wasn't, it was going straight in, and it wasn't going over like here. It goes a little bit more over, so I bet you this one will come off cleanly. Still stepped into the same step fracture, so I'm already having some problems early on, but I know I can correct it. That's the life of a beginning Flint Knapper, trying to learn what's a good hit, what's not a good hit. Sometimes they work out. Okay, so this one looks good. How do I know if it's good? I guess it has to be curved, right? So it needs to go kind of like the football shape, go up and then like that, not straight across. So I am learning. It's some nice stuff here. It's some nice glass. Yep, on these flakes I do see hints of purple, see hints of brown, hints of black, so this must have been, I mixed all three on this piece. So let's be a little bit more selective on these flakes. Trying to choose a better flake to hit. So this one looks good. There we go. I gave myself a little warm-up tap. That seemed to help. Just so I know where I'm hitting. Hopefully you guys seen that flake come off. That's right in here. Came off pretty nice. So I know I have to clean up this big step fracture that I created. I hate creating them in the first place, you know, but it takes time for me to learn. All right. That could have been another one. Good thing it came off. I'm trying to limit the amount of step fractures by preparing maybe platforms a little better and trying not to hit into the piece like on a flat area too crazy with these flakes. Trying to limit my mistakes as best I can. I think in time, you know, I'm new, so I'm learning on camera with everybody else on what works, what doesn't work. So I see right here, I set this up right here. So now that's, see that little divot, that's a little low. I might be able to take a flake along the piece, just like that. Knock some of that tip down, and that created a small little divot here on the low end that I could probably take also. There you go. So this right here is not ready. This is really bulbous, so I'm gonna have to work my way around that. I think I do have a platform right here though to take a piece from. A small little platform here, little choppy piece, choppy flake. I'll take another choppy flake here. Just trying to go midway. I don't want to go all the way to the center right now if I don't have to. Have one here. That was a good flake for me. Kind of clean this edge up here. I have a platform right down in here. You see, I see it's a little low end here. It could probably be cleaned up, but it's not too bad. I'm going to try to run it along this ridge. Not too crazy, just enough. I'm going to go around real quick, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to straighten up that line a little bit. Or maybe I shouldn't yet. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I think I usually do that. Let's try something different today. Let me just try to keep hitting these flakes, these opportunities. There's still some platforms to mess with. a little bit. I'll raise that up. I could take a little flake in here. Let's see. So if you can see this, there's a ridge that runs through the side. So my whole thing is to try to take some of that ridge off. I think I can hit it here. There's a little piece. Just trying to thin it out a little bit. I'm not trying to necessarily make a point yet. I'm not really trying to do that. I'm trying to take some of these easy ones. So my angle, took off a little bit more on that one. We'll go in here across, see if I can get it. That was a good flake. Take some cleanup flakes. I could run a small one here. It's not going to be a lot of pressure. Just a little flake. I still got this big ridge. You see this right here, this back end is really bulbous. That's specifically designed like that for my molds so that you have to deal with it and you have to try to learn to hit it out. Hopefully this looks as nice to you as it does to me right here live on my video, because it happens that it's flaking nicely. And I like to see who's watching my videos too, to see if anybody responds to, you know, this free glass giveaway. I'm giving out glass early on in my channel just because I have access to it, and it'd be cool to see some nappers make something out of my glass. Kind of blew that one out. That was a bad hit. Not too bad. Good thing it was a light touch. I'm slowly raising the platform to this bulbous side in preparation to take it off. I will be ordering a bunch of rock coming up pretty soon. I want to get some more obsidian in, some Keokuk, and whatever else I can get my hands on, pretty much. I'm just setting up a platform here. I'm going to try to knock some of this off. Same thing here. Don't need this here. Trying to set up a little flake run on this side. So let me go ahead and abrade it. So I just raised the platform more on this side here because I'm going to try to run some of this bulk off. Alright, let's get a couple little runs here. thin one. Raise this back end up. I'm going to eventually see this step fracture in there. I'm going to try to get that off right now. Alright, so there's a step fracture right here. You can see a line. I'm going to try to hit from behind on it. I created a little bit of a low spot right here. Then I'm going to try to run just some of it off right now, not all of it. Let's get the right angle. Okay, I just went in right behind it. Took off just behind the step fracture. So then now I have a small little ridge that runs through to this already set up platform. And I'm just going to try to run some of that off. Alright, took off a tiny bit of it. It is getting better. It's not perfect, it's getting better. Let's check this piece out. So see our progress already. We're starting to thin it out. This was an issue we created early on. I kind of understood what I did wrong, and I haven't actually repeated that same mistake, which is a plus. You know, because I said I am learning. So now I have to try to take my mistake out, which is a big hump, step fracture. I'm just going to try to work my way around this piece. Try to clean up what I can. I don't know what I'm making. I'm pretty sure it might be like a little knife blade or a nice point, a little bit of a bigger point for me. So maybe if I get lucky enough to get to that, like that deep into this napping session, then we might have a nice point, but we will see. Don't want to hit that one. Alright, so this is all done with percussion so far. I've gotten pretty far with percussion. I guess it's called direct percussion, right? So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to indirect. I have a lot more luck normally with indirect. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to make a mistake, but I'm going to try my best. So let's get set up for indirect percussion. Alright, now I'm set up for indirect percussion. Some of this right here, it kind of unfocuses the camera sometimes, so gotta clean some of this up. Alright, so I'm going to braid really good. Nice and easy. Nice and easy strikes if I can. Just blowing off some flakes. A little purple in there. going to try to thin off the ends first before I hit the middle. I've had previous experience in the past where I've hit the middle first and then snap it in half. We don't want that. Taking out some thinning flakes. I'm going to kind of go do a little run. Going to go around. I'm not going to talk too much during this part. But you can see, here we go. This just have some nice low-end platforms from me, from Direct Percussion. I'm just going to use those if I can. These are nice and easy strikes too. It's running off some really good flakes right now. So we almost cleaned off all of the original glass. We're left with this here. But so I think what I'm noticing on some points that I purchased a couple points, and they have these little circular serrations going through the whole middle. So that's telling me that maybe they're flaking halfways only at a certain point. And so it's that step that I need to figure out in my flint knapping. So maybe I just need to ease up and run the flakes halfways. Unless I absolutely have to run a flake, you know what I mean? It's good to see a little bit of purple in here. If there's any decent platform, I'm going to try to take advantage of it. Little choppy one there. Choppy one there. We just did a little run through. Have taken off a decent amount. I'm more parallel right now on my strikes. Like that means the stone is flat and not tilted anywhere. So I have it parallel. I'm not tilted up or down right now. This glass seems to like parallel, so, and it's running some decent flakes. See what I mean? Just ran it across. There's another one. It's always good to figure this stuff out. I mean, especially being a newbie, you know, I'm really parallel, ran that one here. It is starting to straighten up. All right. So later on in the video, I will be deciding on a shape and what I kind of want to work towards. But not yet. So I try to make that flake match up right now. And I've been noticing some points that they have a lot of beautiful like symmetry, and so I'm trying to work towards that, just like that. I try to match it up on each side. I don't always do that, but I think it does look nice. So we are going to have to take a risk eventually on that step fracture that's right here. I'm just trying to find a good opportunity to get to it. Little choppy flakes maybe to raise the platform so I can possibly get to it. Now there might be a little crack right here too on this glass, and I'm kind of easing my way around it just in case, because I am going to have to hit into that area to knock this big hump off. So be prepared for that in the video. Okay, I set this up right here. There's a little bit of a ridge. Now I can run probably a flake right in behind it again, and it's going to be easy. I'm not going to try to take off too much. So you guys can see that. Come on, loosen up. There we go. We got some of it off. And so now there's a nice little ridge that I could possibly run by here eventually in a little bit to try to take that off. Those are just nice, easy, thinning flakes that I'm trying to take off. Now, I'm not the best with direct percussion yet, so until that time, I do practice it off camera. Until that time, you're going to be seeing me using indirect to clean up a blade. Just because right now that's what I'm most comfortable with. So if you can see this from the beginning to this midpoint, it's starting to clean up pretty nicely. I am actually looking at the point before each hit, kind of knowing what I have to take off. Alright, I think we've reached the point in the video where I have to decide on a shape to figure out what I'm going to make. I'm pretty new to this, so I usually will resort to a book that I have in deciding what I want to actually turn this into. So give me a moment, we're going to get that done right now. Alright, so here we go on camera here. Let's check this out. So I'm looking at my glass that we have, and I'm kind of liking this northern side notch. We have some meat on it. We could go this northern side notch and just have, I kind of like the little notch in the bottom. I think we're gonna go here, so this is gonna be our inspiration. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can replicate this, all the way thinning this off. Let's go ahead and abrade it. And remember, abrading is my friend. It is our friend. You got to give the tools something to grab onto. Now that I have an idea of what I'm making, I kind of, you know, I'm going to try to get that into the shape here. I have an actual goal to shoot for, so this is going to be my point, so I'm going to start to fix that. And I'm going to take my time, I'm going to go slow, because I'm still going to try to clean it up and make it beveled nicely on either side. Little choppy flakes. I'm not trying to do too much right now. Definitely not trying to do too much. Just trying to clean it up. So I'm just trying to fix the center line, make the piece straight. It's kind of going this way a little bit. We're going to try to fix that. So right here I might be able to finally attack the rest of that step fracture. There we go. So that was there was a step fracture there. So that piece takes care of it, which is good to know. Good to, gotta know your material. Start to raise this front end a little bit. The tip is a little bit, we got to narrow it off. So my whole thing, I think, is that I try to run as many flakes as I can before I go too narrow and shape it. That way I can get it to the thinness I really want it already. So that's why I'm kind of barely knocking off these flakes. So a little step fracture here. I'm going to try to go in behind it. So there's a small step fracture right in there. So if you can see that right there. So now I have, that was from, I think that was from earlier, which is okay though, because I am narrowing off this end, which means I can bring up the center line. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. I'm tilting in a little bit, just trying to knock off little chips so I can straighten up that center line. Okay. Right here, you can see it. That used to be a step fracture. Now it's a little bit of a platform, and I'm going to gently hit it with a medium hit, parallel. And we took off that little tiny bit of a step fracture right there. Not bad, not bad. Now just cleaning up around it, because we are shaping this now. Check that out. It is straightening out. We got a lot of the major issues out of this piece so far. It is flattening out nicely. And if there's any other issues as it's thinning out, I'm going to just take care of them. So the center line's being raised as I'm shaping it. I'm kind of doing it all in one motion. So I just brought that side in, and so now I got to bring this side in. Little flakes, little flakes. So I think that's the step I was missing. So you see this here, you see how they're all even? So I've been missing this on my points, and so now I know that it's at this stage that you do that, which is good to know because I didn't know that. And it's simple little choppy flakes that are giving me that look. And I've been waiting to get to this point. I'm glad I was able to run that here and figure that out. So that's what these little choppy flakes are doing. I'm just lightly hitting this back end, tilting up, trying to clean it up. I could do it all with pressure flaking too, so I'm not kind of too worried. You guys can see that center line's coming together nicely. Don't get me wrong, I know it needs a lot of work still, but we're getting there. Check that out. Alright, so I can bring this tip in still. I'm still doing little choppy flakes. They're little cleanup flakes. So looking at my picture, I know I got to flatten out this back end and then try to keep this to a point. I wish that we could keep some of the length, but I know that this is going to have to come in. We're going to probably knock off at least a 1/4 inch of the length if I want to worry about, you know, getting my shape right, which I do. I'm not sure what you guys think. Do you guys think I should do these full-length videos? Maybe in watching them, you'll see some of the same issues that you're having, and that you're going through at the same time as me, and maybe it'll help you guys figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Just took off some of that thickness on the tip. The point is coming together. It is slow, but it is coming together. You still got this. This is from the original step fracture. There's still a tiny, like, remnants of it. But I'm setting up a platform over time right here that we're going to try to get to that point and knock it off. Let's take another close-up. There's a step fracture, but it is thinning out. That side looks really great on that side. So does this side, but we just have that one little area. All right, let's try to knock some of it off here. Got in behind it. Didn't get it fully. All right. Got most of it off there. So I know it's getting a little thinner. I'm taking some chances and I'm trying to take off that step fracture. That was pretty much the last of it. I'm pretty happy with the thinness. I'm going to take that as a win so far. So let's take a look at this. Here we go. It's coming around nicely. I think as a beginner, I mean, I'll take this 9 times out of 10 so far. So now let's go move over to my cleanup pad, and we're going to try to run a little bit of flakes, but we're going to try to do most of the cleanup and get this point looking sweet. All right, so now we're going to be getting into this cleanup. So I'm going to get my pressure flaker all squared away and get it all nice and sharp. Just trying to create a quick point. So just like this. So my main thing is the center line. I usually go around and clean up the center line first, and then I'll start to shape it. There we go. It's grabbing nicely now. I just turned the tool over. Seems to be grabbing pretty good now. Yeah, now it's running some good little flakes. So cleaning up a piece is it is one of my favorite parts, to be honest with you. To see a final cleanup, a final shape. I gotta remember too, I think I am doing a northern side notched point and bottom notch, so I got to get the shape right too. So I'm pretty much going, when I see a low spot, I hit it. If I see a high spot, I turn it around and then hit that spot until I'm happy with the shape. The tip is low right now, so I just rose it up. And now I'll work this side. And also work on my shape, because I know I have to bring it in. So let's bring it in right now where it's supposed to be. Thank you guys for all who are watching my videos too and the the only reason I'm access to glass is because I do ceramics. So if I was you guys, you know, I take advantage of my free glass offers because they are real. And I am giving away some of this glass that I've been working. I think mostly because the Flint Knapping community to me so far has been really great. And, you know, kind of want to give back already early on to them and give you some free material to work. So let's check out the shape already. So it is coming together. This side needs to be taken off. This side needs to come in a little bit, but overall, like, we're getting the shape there. Like, it's coming together pretty nicely. So let's give it a light abrade so we can run some cleaner flakes. Gives me an opportunity to check my center line. All right, so I'm looking at it and I know I need to bring this in. Let's go here. It's a low spot anyways. So right here is a low spot anyway. So, and then I need to take some of it off. So works out perfect. Hopefully you can see all these little flakes running off. Now, I'm not just making points. I mean, I want to learn, right? But I'm also making them. The initial thing was that I'm Shumash, and you know, one of my original goals is I do make jewelry, and so I wanted to make my own points for my jewelry, and then now because I'm progressing somewhat and learning, you know, I see everybody making their own knife blades, and I do have a background in woodworking also, so I figure why not see if I can learn how to make some blades, some points, some longer ones. So the tip is coming together nice. We're not perfectly symmetrical yet. We're getting very close, and I'm trying to get it there. So you guys are watching me in real time on these videos. I don't speed them up, hardly ever. That way you can kind of get how long it does take to make something. And for those of you who do buy jewelry or buy arrowheads from people and their knives and their blades, I mean, just appreciate how long it takes for people to create beautiful, you know, arrowheads and knife blades. And it's not a quick process unless you have a crazy amount of experience, and a lot of those guys are quicker. Okay, I think another abrade will do this piece some good. We almost got our point centered. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting close. Let's knock off some bulk off the tip here. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Check that out. It's on the low side right now, but when I sharpen it, I will raise it back up. And since we have that taken care of, now we're going to work in flattening out the backside. We got to flatten out the backside right now. And I think we're going to try to go straight across. So I'm just going to take off some small flakes, turn it around, do the same thing, kind of give it a little rough abrade. Clean it up a little bit. So it is flattening out, and now we got to clean up the backside too. So this needs to be taken in. I'm sorry about that. So we got to clean up this backside. This needs to be taken in just a little bit. So I will do that. Do a little series of flakes. It's almost there. All right, let's go ahead and abrade the back end. Let's see if we're squared off yet. So it's a little high here in the piece. So we will, let's see if we can hold it up. It's a little high here. We're going to try to take some of that off. So northern side notch is I believe this one goes slightly in, so I'm gonna start to round it off a little bit. pretty good. So I'm gonna sharpen my tool back up. I'm gonna start to get ready and do my notching. Okay, so I'm gonna sharpen my tool back up and get ready to do some notching. Now I'm gonna really try to get a point. So there we go. It's a nice sharpened point. Try to get some notching done. Rod inserted into this tool. I made this by hand. Like a lot of us flint knappers, a lot of them do make their own tools. Alright, so on this piece right here, I think we're going to do notching. Try to do it a little bit up. And right in here, just take out a couple notches, hopefully at an angle. We'll see how it goes though. And if I need to sharpen my tool as I go, I'm gonna do it because just because overall, like, I mean, I want to use the best tool I can. So I am new to notching. So you see that. Okay, so I haven't perfected it by any means at all, but I'm gonna try not to get stalled out here. Like I'm doing right now. Alright, that might have helped me so I can get it from the other side. Alright. So I kind of got stalled out on the notches there, but I was just trying to make a small notch anyways. I wasn't trying to go too deep in, but I mean, it would have been nice to be able to run a little bit more. The piece is a little thicker on this back end. That might have a lot to do with it. I guess I could have thinned out the back end, but no worries. Let's just try to make a point. Let's go ahead and continue the notches here. And if I could at least match it, then I think I'm okay. Okay, so that notch went a lot better than the other side. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to try to match it up. I'm gonna try to match the look of it aesthetically. Make sure my angles are the same. And to be honest with you, you know what might work is something that's like I need a lighter leather so I can see the piece a little bit clearer. And it'll also show up better on camera for everybody else. So let me look at my image. You know, we're trying to go straight across. I was able to grab some of that. It's not bad. It's pretty even. We're getting closer to it being nice and even. So this little corner has a little bit of a, there we go. Just, I'm making the angles the same. Clean it up. So future points I gotta know. I think I want to go a little bit thinner in the back end. I didn't really focus on it too much. I should have. For an overall point, I should have. Alright, so let's see what we have. I'd say that looks pretty good. I mean, it could do a little bit of cleanup, but overall, I knocked off a little bit of this corner. So I'm actually just going to match it up, and I'll be okay with it. As long as it matches to me. If it matches up, it starts to look a little bit more intentional. So that's the, there we go. So let's take a look at this. Not too bad, not too bad. Here's our point. So all we have to do now is sharpen it. Pretty straight, pretty nice. All right, final stage. Let's get ready to sharpen everybody. All right, now we are ready for some sharpening. So what I'm going to do to sharpen, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do a series of flakes all the way around the whole thing, turn it around, do it to the other side, and just to put a nice little sharpen on it. It'll also help clean up the center line. I did sharpen my tool. If I do see any areas that need to be worked, I'll clean them up. So I will try to do the same on this other side. I am taking off small little flakes, you guys can see right there. Some of them are just popping off. They're hard to see sometimes. So there was one pass. You see that? Now I'm going to turn it over just like this, and I'm going to make another pass right in between. I'm trying to take off still a small flake. Let's do the other side. There's a low spot there, so kind of took the opportunity to get it. Alright, so there I made a pass all the way around it, sharpened it up, and the tip of it, let's see, the tip of it is not bad. It does need a little work on one side just to kind of straighten it out. So let's go ahead and finish that up, and then we should be done with this blade or this arrowhead. Overall, not too bad. One little step fracture on it right here. Guess what, guys? I just took it off. There we go. We could clean that area up so that your eye doesn't necessarily go to it. Alright, here we go. One session, everybody. A finished blade, a finished point. Let's get you guys a comparison here. So this is what we were striving for. We were striving for a northern side notch. It's angled up here. It's not so much here, but we were trying to keep our width. So could have probably brought it to more of a point, but I'm really happy with it. Alright, so let's get you guys a good view of this point. Overall, really happy with it. Let's go ahead and measure it, and I'll give you guys the dimensions of it. Just under 4 inches, 3/8 inches. And here we're looking at just about an inch. And then let's see if we can see what we got to here. I'm looking at just about in the widest spot. I was able to get a 1/4 inch. Know what you guys think in the comments. Please like, please subscribe. This is my glass that I slumped myself. I wish I can get a light under it so you guys can see the translucency. But maybe I'll show you guys that in some images at the end of this video. Alright guys, thank you for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe, please share. 6 months in flint knapping. I think I just created a good one, everybody.